What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some more Destiny 2 news. We have some further updates from Bungie regarding their roadmap, content calendar, state of the game plans, and general feels about Destiny 2. All of this coming after some of the most candid commentary from the dev team about the state of the game as it stands right now, and we get a further apology for some of that, so we'll touch on it, as well as some of the new features that are coming up, so Bungie go into a bit more information around the changes to the Vault, additions to the portal, and what they're coining as a replacement for Grandmaster, or at least something to fill the missing space around kind of weekly Nightfall style content. So we have all of that. Plus additionally, Bungie talk a bit more about Tharsis Outpost, so this will be the new hub for contracts and content inside of Renegades. And there are a couple of other expansion previews in there as well, so if you guys enjoy the video, a rating very much helps us on the channel. But firstly guys, are you feeling like you need a little boost when gaming? Maybe you feel like you can't concentrate or you're zoning out, and if so, today's sponsor may be able to help you. MHO1 have developed their premium brain and focus formula. This is a nootropic blend formulated with vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and botanicals to boost cognitive function. It's built to support mental clarity, concentration, and energy through the day, with less of the junk that we often find in alternatives. So it's a great replacement for energy drinks or excessive amounts of coffee, and it's made with natural ingredients. I've been using it for a week, taking 2 capsules a day, and it gives me a bump to alertness, especially on busy days at work, but without the jitters or overstimulation that you often find with caffeine. And that's my favorite thing about the product. I feel like I can stay locked in for longer, whether I'm editing, recording, or gaming. I feel sharper for longer without burning out halfway through the day. So if you want to check it out, click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen right now, and you'll get 25% off your first order as well as free shipping for the first month for US customers. It's totally worth looking at. All the details are linked below, and thanks to MHO1 for sponsoring the video. Now though, getting into the discussion from this week, firstly, it's worth recognizing the kind of candor from Bungie with regards to the current state of Destiny 2. In that roadmap we had a couple of days ago, Bungie referred to Edge of Fate and the system specifically around the game as the wrong path for Destiny 2, and they literally stated that power and a throwaway tier grind will never be a substitute for earning a trophy, and that this system has clearly failed. It's good that Bungie recognized that, and I appreciate it won't necessarily make everybody happy. I think the important thing for me is that Bungie have to recognize that they actually did mess up before they'll be able to fix it, right? And there have only been a couple of instances where Bungie have spoken in such plain terms about the impact of the changes that we've had in the last year, which is ultimately a good baseline to hopefully move away into something more impactful. They also announced that the state of the game and multi-year roadmap will arrive in 2026 because they're taking additional time to craft the long-term strategy for the future of Destiny. Which is indeed a future that most of us hope there will be for the game, obviously. And I guess the other important component is that Bungie are speaking in terms that suggest a bigger kind of turnaround from what we have right now is kind of what they're planning. And DMG added to this, we need more time for that roadmap, plain and simple. Expect a true roadmap and state of the game next year. Again, many apologies, which I believe is primarily in reference to the promise of a roadmap that we had in September. And that's why the content calendar for Renegades is really about what Bungie are going to do in the short term, or about supporting the live game in the short term, right? I saw many comments where players had said, okay, so you've recognized the portal is not a good thing, or is indeed severely flawed, yet you're adding more to it in Renegades. And I guess the reason for that is that it was already part of the plan. They've already been developing this stuff for some time. And there's a recognition that while they can't fix all of these big problems in a very short period of time, they still have a job to do with regards to supporting the live game and trying to make the best of a bad job, essentially, which is why we're continuing to see these updates. You can't really criticize Bungie for at least continuing to support those elements while they work on something better. Having said that, actually, you can criticize them for that if you want. I definitely didn't anticipate on a personal level that we would get more announcements than what we've had here, because it's clear it's going to take longer to fix. They did give us kind of a pipeline for events that might give us a bit of an indication of where we get to next year. So obviously the Dawning comes in December, that'll be 3 weeks long. Arms Week returns in January, focused on bows. Then we get Guardian Games in March, Call to Arms as a mid-season update this time around in April, and then the return of Iron Banner and Heavy Metal once again, which ultimately takes us up until at least May of 2026. So it could be that in the summer we still get the first expansion of the year that Bungie had put in the pipeline with the expansion roadmap, although we should potentially be prepared for, some delays there, which maybe push that a bit further out, especially if they're going to deliver big system changes and overhauls to the game at the same time. So we will have to wait until 2026 for that conversation, really. And again, share your thoughts in the comment section. Like I say, this is not the fix-it-all announcement, really, but it's at least an actual recognition of the level of issues with the game right now. So let me know what you think. Otherwise, in that post, they shared a new fashion system for universal exotic armor ornaments, so we can apply any owned exotic armor ornament of the same class and slot to exotic armors in PvE activities. Then there's the increase to vault space, going up to 1,000 slots per account with a revamped filtering system. And we can filter by gear tier, power level, rarity, and all of that kind of stuff in-game, which is good. To clarify about the ornament stuff though, exotic armors will continue to show their default look and any ornaments for that specific exotic in PvP activities to avoid confusion during combat. And we will not be able to apply base exotic armor looks to other exotics. That's important to bear in mind right there. A separate quick update for Call to Arms this week, but players are asking why do we still have Iron Banner quests that we can't clear or delete to make way for the Call to Arms quests. Bungie had said they'd implemented a fix for this, but some players still appear to be impacted by it. In terms of supporting the portal though, even though they recognise it is very flawed, Bungie this week have announced Arena Ops, so this is the 6-player activities. Originally they'd called it Flashpoint Ops, but some examples here include Catch Crash, Astral Alignment, and Nightmare Containment. We see a new season weapon there as well for Astral Alignment, so that's going to be the season icon, obviously. Then there's this component of Vanguard alerts. So these are going to sit alongside conquests in the seasonal hub. Rotating weekly, they say Grandmaster Vanguard alerts should take slightly longer and offer greater rewards for your time and effort, as they're harder than the usual Grandmaster difficulty found elsewhere in the portal. But it will be a bigger rotation of activities that reset on a weekly basis to hopefully improve the sense of something, new or different being featured on a weekly reset. Then in the future, they've said we're including dungeons and raids into Vanguard alerts to give easy access to these activities, with weekly challenges for this year's endgame content that grant rewards from their corresponding reward pools. In the future, however, they do want to add legacy raids and dungeons, and then, in terms of rewards, they say the weapons you earn from completing each stage will be tier 3 or above, based on your account power, and among the highest power drops that you can earn in Destiny 2, so these weeklies will give more power than anything else in the game, essentially, and they'll be the primary source for seasonal weapons featuring the accelerated Assault Origin trait, which loads a small amount of ammo to the weapon after dealing sustained damage. So that's a new weapon category for this playlist, I guess, and then there'll be bonus rewards for completing the first stage in each alert category, so things like chronologs and Bright Dust will drop, and then we can replete the playlist activities and receive regular rewards based on score with a random chance of gaining another seasonal weapon with the extra Origin trait, so that Origin trait will actually sit alongside the agnostic ones for the weapon. Not to criticize it because it's more stuff to do, but I definitely get the feeling that Bungie are kind of fumbling looking for a replacement to something that felt like, weekly Nightfalls or Grandmasters. That was originally meant to be conquests, and they also have further updates to conquests. These two things sit alongside each other. So you could argue that they're almost nearly the same thing with a slightly different implementation. You could also say it's almost like another portal category to an extent. Again, I'm not looking to just criticize Bungie. They're trying to fit something into this particular system that feels like an improvement. We'll see how it actually plays out. I think part of the problem is simply having this menu format with multiple pages and grids of things to do. All feels very much the same, right? Regardless of which category you're in. So that's part of the problem here. Importantly though, it is additional stuff to do, additional rewards, and a weekly reset component, so it certainly isn't all bad. And like I say, if Bungie do get around to a bigger rework of the portal, I think most of these things are going to be truncated or reworked, again, into different categories and different presentation formats. We're going backwards and forwards, man. Otherwise, looking to Renegades for a moment, next week, we'll get further announcements. I think we're going to get hands-on gameplay from creators that have been to play it early. We've also got an abilities preview coming up, and I'm sure plenty of other things. But something Bungie have kind of been teasing a little bit on social media is Tharsis Outpost. So we can see the new hub right here. And with regards to the Fallen in the Outpost, they say free from traditional Elixir hierarchy and houses, Rilic's Pikers strike hard and leave scorch marks behind in the lawless frontier. We can see the Pikers here, some of them splicing away working on technology and stuff. I do actually like the visual updates for these enemies, to be fair to Bungie. It's taken a long time for us to get further updates to existing enemy types. I know new enemy types would obviously be better, but these do look kind of cool. And the Outpost in general definitely has Star Wars vibes. We've seen similar things in Destiny before as well, of course, whether it was the Fallen sector in the Last City. Obviously quite reminiscent of sort of Tangled Shore and Forsaken elements too. We know the Spider will return additionally, so it's kind of a theme that we've been along that path previously, but We'll finish by running a clip of what Bungie had to say about the hub and the enemy factions here, just in case you want a refresh. For the moment though, if you found the video and the clarifications useful, a rating really does help us out. Hit subscribe as well if you want to be kept up to date so I can keep you posted on everything coming up in Renegades. Once again, big shout out to MH01 for sponsoring the video today. If you want to check out their brain and focus formula, it's totally worth a look and there's some cool benefits using my link in the description box. But otherwise, thank you for watching and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
Shady backroom deals, working for these powerful syndicates and against them at different times. And all of this takes place at the heart of the criminal underworld in Tharsis Outpost.
The Vanguard have been preoccupied. They've been off saving the world, and they haven't been looking at Tharsis. It's changed a lot since the last time we were there.
It's now this thriving black market, this criminal underworld. Tharsis Junction became Tharsis Outpost. If you have an unsavory job that you need done, you can find it at Tharsis Outpost.
Tharsis Outpost feels appropriate for both Star Wars and for us. When we looked at Mos Eisley as inspiration, we knew that we could play in that playground in a really fun way. From the ghosts that you'll see floating around to one Elixni with all 4 of his Elixni arms shaking up drinks. We took that inspiration and we found the Destiny spin on it. Criminal syndicates have moved in.
You're working with the syndicates. You are building your notoriety with them.
The 3 different syndicates that we created, we're going to be dealing with. The Pikers are Elixni. They're kind of like an anarchist biker gang. Unlike other Elixni, they're atheists. They don't worship machines. They follow relics. We've also got the Totality Division, a subsect of the Barrent Imperium. They're run by Scions, and their enforcer Rao is going to be the leader of this group. And we've got Tharsis Reformation. They are a breakaway group from Maya's Vex. They're starting to think for themselves and figure out what it means to be an individual.
They're starting to do crime. They're wearing clothes.
Crime and wearing clothes are what all individuals do. We need to have new people to fight and new people to root for. And this was our opportunity.